Good morning. This is Rainico again, and good morning to y'all. It's Saturday, 7/11 today, so 2020. Yes, I like to say I'm number one dad. So I want to talk about the one big topic that's very big, um, and I want to talk about it seriously as well. It's a topic that a lot of people are talking about right now. So again, giving my point of view, my biggest thing is with abortion. Why I'm pro-life and why I am against abortion. So again, you can almost never have a debate, live debate, because so many emotions come about. So um, I'm gonna share my thoughts. From the very beginning, I thought, okay, the pro-choice, that side of the aisle or that side of the argument, I thought I was okay with. Again, during college, I didn't really worry about too much, but I thought more about it. I learned more about it, and there's a religious side of it, and that's the biggest part. And I think that's the reason why there's like an underlying hatred towards religion, and it's not really crazy because that's been happening for centuries. For a long time, people for religion and people against religion. So I think abortion is, we talk about the women's rights. I'm going to get serious here, or intense. A woman's right has nothing to do with the right of that fetus. So I hear a lot of people, on the pro-choice or pro-abortion side, where they, my body, my choice. I definitely understand that, but it's the choice of that fetus. Then they say, oh, it's nothing; it's just a bunch of cells. Well, it is a bunch of cells of a human. We can't negate that it is still a human. Is when it's that bunch of cells, why do we get so excited when we go for the first the first meeting with our doctor, when it's just we just found out we're pregnant? People get excited. People make those decisions of having abortion at that time. It's because we know it's a human being at its very, very infancy stages. It's a bunch of cells. I get it. I understand and I agree with that, but it's a bunch of cells of a human being. Us is so fascinating. So we still have to protect that. We still have to say, hey, this is going to be a human being. It's not going to be, and I don't want to be, I don't want to patronize people on that side. I know some pro-life people say, oh, it's not going to be a apple, it's not going to be an orange or a tiger or bear, but I'm just going to be respectful. It's going to be a human being at one point, so we can't negate that it's going to be a human being. Whether or not, at 20 weeks, it can feel pain essentially. At 24 days, it's, if I remember correctly, at 24 days is a heartbeat. So it's crazy how these things form and these things turn into a human being. So that's one side of it where I just cannot get on board with abortion because it is a human life. We talk about all these crazy things that's going on, this injustice and everything, and um, it's crazy. So I'm going to talk about Planned Parenthood. So talk about injustice. There's over close to 500,000 unborn babies killed each year, and Planned Parenthood has a majority of them because they're just a large organization. And a lot of people don't know that, when they say, oh, if you want to defund Planned Parenthood, you're going to lose access to so much other things that they do, and you're really hurting women's lives. Well, Planned Parenthood is not the only player in town. There's so many doctors, so many um, clinics that don't support abortion. So don't ever think that if we're closing or we want to close Planned Parenthood um, because they care for women. No, we want to close Planned Parenthood because two things. One, they're the highest, biggest organizations that perform abortions. So they are the big wigs when it comes to abortions. And there's another idea, and it's been proven as well that they, I hate to say sell baby parts because that's so much diminished the sanctity of those unborn babies as if they're nothing. But they take that baby, that that bunch of cells that we think is nothing, and that a lot of women think they're just a bunch of cells. Well, in the science world, they make a lot of money, and we're all sinners. We all love to profit for something, especially money, and it is so easy to use that and to make women think that hey, it's okay, we're aborting because of your choice. Remember, your choice. And at the same time, women never ask questions. Well, what happens to it? Well, who cares? Because my problem solved, and we'll talk about that in a minute as far as the reasons why women have abortions. Um, and they took care of it. They don't have to worry about it. They can continue life, and they don't need to worry about where it goes. But a lot of times they use these to look up stem cell research. I just read an article about how it's crazy because you use the same words, and I'm like, okay, that's the same words they use for when they have those. Um, as far as the data is concerned, for these unborn babies, these unborn fetuses that people would say, but they're unborn babies, and they would have, a the same terminology for that, and at the same time, you see they say stem cell research, to better cancer or to have better fight cancer, or you can fix the neurology side of it, of your brain, all these different things, and they can find out new scientific discoveries about how to better each one's body. And I was like, wow. So again, Planned Parenthood is powerful, and they think about it, 400,000, and they have the majority of it. So let's just say 250 to 300,000 abortions a year, and they have these unborn babies that they use their parts, if you will. It's unfortunate, but their limbs there to learn because it's so pure that we cannot replicate it. So they say, well, we can't let it go to waste, and it happens. And I don't know how much it is. Let's just throw a number out there. 1,000 sounds nice, just to make it easy. Or so $300,000 they make a year off of this. And I don't know. Is it 300,000? I'm bad at math. Let me check. So that's why we have a calculator. So 300,000 times $1,000 per. That was way off. That's 300 million. 300 million. So that means something if they can make 300 million off of this, these fetuses that people just don't care about. And it helps the world. And it helps, scientific community. So that's that side of that I cannot get on board with. Or that's why I'm on the pro-life side. I believe I'm pro-life, and I love being pro-life. So that's one part of it. The other, as far as people are not, they don't have, the right. And then the other thing is, or just to end that thought, as far as people don't have the idea or hey, my body, my choice. Well, it's totally different. They have a heartbeat, it's separate. My wife told me that her cousin in Mexico, she had cancer while she was pregnant, and she went on with the pregnancy, had the child, and she died just a little bit after her pregnancy. Very sad. but it tells you the idea that it is separate. So it's not my body, my choice. And to be honest with you, that is the most selfless thing you can do, is to give life while taking your life for your child. That is just, my heart went for her, and we know she's in heaven. But that's the crazy part, is that we know we're two separate bodies, two separate heartbeats. That's why women eat a little bit more. That's why women act different during pregnancy, because another body's in there is affected. Yes, you're holding it, but you don't have a right to that body. And I know it's hard to say, but it's very, very hard. But then again, I go deeper. Why do women say that? My body, my choice. I see a lot of TFP. Shout out to TFP. I believe it's called Tradition, um, uh, Family, and um, Prosperity. I may be wrong, but they go to campuses. Look them up. TFP. They're a Catholic order. Wonderful men all around the country. They go to universities, Catholic universities, and Christian universities, and they pray the whole Hail Mary about abortion. And people spit on them. People say F you, my body, my choice." And I'm watching that. I'm analyzing this, and I'm like, why is there so much hatred towards it? Towards keeping alive. It's just weird. Like 100 years from now, we're gonna say, why are they fighting just keeping life? It's unbelievable. But this is where we're at now. So I go deeper. Why are they mad? And I notice a lot of times they throw in the religion, and those TFP members, those gentlemen don't even mention religion. They just talk about the science part of it. And that's what gets people so mad, because they say, religion doesn't follow science. That's the farthest from the truth. Uh, so that it's just hard to fight against that. So they get very, very angry. And I get it. I genuinely believe they know there's a body, but their reason for abortion trumps, no pun intended, or topples of having a child. So I always ask, what's the reason? Why? Why do women have abortions? Well, it's very easy. Inconvenience, or a very, very small percentage. We're talking about in the tens, or maybe 50s or hundreds of, we're talking about half a million people, half a million unborn babies. So very, very small percentage. It's less than 2% of women having abortions because of rape or incest. But that's still a reason. You definitely have to bring that up. And then the majority of it is inconvenience. There's a lot of reasons why, and they don't have to be specific because it's their body, their choice. But there's a lot of reasons we can say that you talk to anyone, that I talk to anyone, the common man or woman can understand why they do it. Inconvenience can be school. Inconvenience can be their career. That's the biggest one I've personally experienced, as far as hearing people's stories, is they're not ready. Doesn't mean, they're immature, but they're not ready to have a baby. They want to make a good income. They want to make have, I wouldn't say have a family, because um, 66% of people are divorced. So not having a nuclear family, but having their own definition of family, they want to have their child essentially, and they're not ready. But a lot of times it's money. Let's get down to it. People are scared of the unknown. When you have money, you have power. You can talk about the unknown because you have power with the money. So having a high-powered job, all these different things. But I tell you what, it is a unfortunate shame, because that is not a strong woman. We look at it in the business world. You talk about, women gets paid 70% or 70 cents on the dollar of their male counterparts. Okay, think about when women's rights started. I may be off of 5 or 10 years, but I know at least in the 70s. So let's say mid 60s to mid 70s, they've been fighting for women's rights. And that is, what, 70? I'm bad at math, so 70 to 100 is 30 plus 20, 50 years they've been fighting, and they haven't gotten nowhere. So two things. One is abortion. The other one is pornography. We'll talk about pornography later on, as far as the mission of a woman's beauty, of a woman's honor, um, and self worth. Um, but that's again another topic. But the one about abortion is, think about it. Society tells us that, or let's just say the bad man, because there are many men that think truly women are lower than men, and that's wrong. Totally on women's side. Let's talk about feminism. That started because they felt they were, majority of men felt they were under um, them, that women were under them, and they didn't care about it. And it's true, there's so many men out there like that, um, and but they want to be like a man though, rather than being just taking away what the man does. That's what feminists should have been, but they want to be just like men, and that's rough because the control, the power. Think about going back to what we said: my body, my choice. That's that's talking about you. Think about if you ever see a homeowner and someone goes on their land or goes on their property, their house, and tries to steal. You say, "This is my house." Or when you have a family members that are fighting, I always hear that too. "This is my house. You get out of here. This is my house," and they get angry for whatever reason. They always have that power sense of entitlement, like this is mine, and that's where the whole my body, my choice that stems from a male's perspective, where you are mine, and that is so wrong. And women are doing it with abortion in my body. You don't think about anything else. You don't think about how it's hurting anyone, even your own ideology. Um, and let alone many years that people don't talk about this. Many years there are women that have been hurt psychologically of having these abortions 10, 15 years later that they never talk about. They talk about how it's great, but think about when they're 50, when they're 60. I've heard so many true stories on the Catholic radio that women call in. Older lady you can hear by her voice. She even tells her age and over 50, and she says, "Wow, I still remember the day when I had an abortion, and today would have been his 40th birthday." And she knew the sex, so that's. I'm a father, so I know I learned about this and had to learn. So by 5 months, you can find the gender, the sex of the baby, and so you could tell automatically she had the baby midterm, essentially, not late term, but midterm. And she was just crying on the air. And he would have been 40 at this time. And she had no other kids. All these stories, is just very sad. And that's 40 years later. But you also hear like 5, 10 years when they say, "Wow, when I can't have kids." It all happens when they can't have kids. It happens when you can't have something anymore that makes you really think about your decisions you make. So going back to why I cannot get on board is because society tells us when you do those things it's convenient. Just just think about it. What a coincidence we still have women's unjust inequality right now. It's still, it's very low compared to what it was in the 70s, but it still happens, especially in the corporate world. And what a coincidence in the family, nuclear family, especially when it comes to a quote unquote religious family. You'd be surprised how many women say they feel equal to their husband. So again, what a coincidence. But finding this career, having a let's say $200,000, $300,000 salary job, your executive level, or let's just say you're a lower executive, you're 50, 60,000, you work for a good firm, you're a salary employee, you have a nice $200,000 house, $300,000 house, you have a kid, all these different things, you still feel like you're not equal. And the reason why is because the abortion side, think about this. just take a minute and think about it. And again, back your head the pornography side as well, because that's very important as well. But right now, just for this video's topic, the um, the abortion side of it. Science tells you that you you can't have an abortion, or you could have an abortion, and you can have an abortion when it's inconvenient. Think about it. When they say my body, my choice, but at the same time, in their heads, in your head too, your subconscious is really telling you that, you know what, a career is in front of you right now, a um, a school career, you want to go back to school, or you just don't have time, or you don't want to right now. Generally, women want to have children. That's why, even at conception, even when the first meeting with the doctor, you get excited. But generally, you want one. It's just on your time. Remember that, on your time. It's all about you, for pro-choice, and you see how it's affecting a lot of other aspects of it. But you have a choice when you want to. So first off, we'll never be happy. I don't care if you put a goal for when you had that baby and you abort it and you say, hey, I want to make 50 grand more because I want to care for this child. I don't want this child to go in poverty because I don't have enough money right now. Or my career, I want more money. Again, it goes in the money part of it. I don't want that burden. All these things. You're saying that you can't handle it. You cannot handle going to work and having a child. You cannot handle, having these obstacles while having a child. Or it's too much. You're saying you cannot do it. I'm sorry, but I cannot get on board with that. I cannot. That is the worst part of feminism ever. That's saying that you, as a woman, cannot do those things. A man can do it. You don't talk about. You never hear in the news that single fathers. There are many of them, millions in fact. Single fathers, you don't talk about how, oh, well, let me adopt, because obviously a child is born. God forbid a child is born, you can't kill it. I think everyone believes that, hopefully, then you're not human. But you can't physically abort, so let's adopt. Why don't we talk about adoption? Because my body, my choice now. The mother's out of the picture, and that happens a lot. But we don't do that because we expect the man to do that. So you're saying that we don't expect women to be strong. That's not for me. My wife, any woman who does that, who goes against the odds, just think about it. If you go against the odds, saying, you know what, doctors looking at you in the face, a psychiatrist, a psychologist too, a family therapist, a council worker, they all tell you right now you're making $19,000 a year working at Walmart, working at fast food. You barely have a house. You live with your parents, and you're 18. That's a recipe for mistake. You We're okay with it. Your body, your choice. But at the same time, they're giving you hard data and say this is going to be hard, and you go with it. The women who are pro-choice, they would say, okay, or let's do the more specific ones, the more realistic ones too that are happening more and more now. Your 30-year-olds, your 25-year-old women who have a job out of college, but they don't have that real money yet. They don't have the 100,000 or 200,000 yet. They don't have that house yet. They're renting a nice luxurious apartment, and they're just getting by because they're spending a lot, but they can't afford. And they do the math and they say, okay, this doesn't make any sense. You're spending over $100,000 in 18 years for this child. I don't have that. So they have an abortion, and that's more realistic. But whatever the case, whether it's the young girl with unstable situations or the high power girl, they say in the corporate world, we see how that works out, the 70 cents a dollar part, but they make a little bit of money. You're 50, 60,000, you're 70,000, under 100,000, let's just put it that way. and they're just getting by because they're spending a lot, and they just don't have time. They want to get to the next level, then they do it. Um, Whatever the case may be, just imagine if they go against all those odds. They go against it. They say, you know what, F that. I'm going to do it because I know it's going to hurt me because it ain't going to be easy. Either situation ain't going to be easy. Doesn't matter if you have 50, 60,000 or 19,000 living with your parents. It ain't going to be easy. But that's a selfless act. You're doing it for another human being. Think about that. That's so damn powerful. You want to talk about pure love, unconditional love? That is freaking so powerful and enlightenment. Think about it. The aftermath. Two situations. Having abortion, not having abortion. There's no in the middle. And what if the woman doesn't have an abortion? Let's talk about the reality of it. She's going to go to school, whatever her goal is that thinks that it's not letting her do it by having a baby. She's going to do it. More likely because you don't have that obstacle, that burden. I personally believe not, because there's always going to be burdens in life and nothing's perfect. But let's just say in their world, they received it. They want to go to college, or they want to, like I said, what I see more here near Austin is your professionals, young professional women, just in the workforce, but in a good company. They don't have time, or they want to live life, whatever that may be. But they want to be single. All these different things, and again, that's fine. But when you have a potential baby, a fetus, a bunch of cells that becomes a human being in as little as 9 months, or even as little as 5 months, you can see it in the womb. All those things she's gonna get. Let's just say she gets that 200,000 executive job in 5, 6 years, okay? And she says, "Okay, I'm ready." That never it happens. When you say you're ready in the business world, that means you plateaued. You are unsuccessful. You're always pushing to the next level. You're always learning all these different attributes that successful people have. There's no stoppage towards your professional success. So that's a lie. So that is a lie. For people say, "Oh, I'm going to do it when I'm ready." You're never going to be ready. When you feel that you want to have $100,000 and you're only making 60 or even 70, when you get that $100,000 job and you love it, you're gonna want $130,000 job because you know what? You just bought a bigger house, more presents for Christmas, more things for yourself for your wardrobe, everything. You're going out to restaurants more. You always want more. That's the epitome of every civilization. The Romans, they always wanted more and more and more countries. Us, we always want more and more things for ourselves, and you're never going to be happy with that. It's just you won't. It's just fact. So in the meantime, you just ruin a person's life, or a bunch of cells that turn into a human's life. And again, I gotta ask women: is it worth it? So you have that woman that does it, and that's why more and more depressed women are are being discovered because they're realizing it takes a long time to realize it. It takes a long time to say you're wrong. It's basically saying you're wrong. You have to really put yourself away from all that. Or you have the other option, keeping a baby. So you see the result is you really didn't do anything. You just went up a level and you really didn't change. Let's talk about the whole entire sex of women in the country, let alone in the world, but let's just talk about in America right now. You did nothing for women. You just made more money for yourself. But in a world that they still pay you 70 cents on the dollar, to the point where they say, "Oh, you had an abortion, you can live for yourself, that's great. But what did you do for women?" And you can say, "Hey, I've done this for women, go for careers, everything," and you empower more women doing that. It's a good life. Like I said, it's normally things that happen because you want it is for you. A lot of times they're good at in the beginning. That's why you do it. You're not gonna do it because it's bad or it hurts you. No, no, no. And we don't want to suffer. And I'm not talking about suffering like someone's cutting you. No, I'm talking about emotionally, sacrificing your time, your life, your physical life, rather than killing yourself. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your actual being of life, your time in your life. That's what you sacrifice. Your work, everything in your life that you think would happen, you're sacrificing when you're having a child. Doesn't matter what if you don't want it or not. You're gonna sacrifice. And from there, think about the one side if a woman does keep it. That in those two situations, the two examples I said, the high power professional woman is just starting in the business world or any type of world, the professional world, or 18-year-old that's just physically and financially incapable of doing those things. There are ways to do it. There are ways, and women have done it. They're working hard. I drive for Lyft, and I pick up women at these janky hotels with their child, and it's just very sad to see, but they're doing it. And I say thank you. I know it's not easy. I know it's not. I know it's hard, and they still do it. When you see that as a man, when you see that as a woman, that you go against all odds, that is freaking power. That's how you can change men. That's how you can change men who think, oh, you're lower than because men ain't gonna do it. We ain't. There's millions of us that take care of children, but we have to because that's what's expected of us. But if we had a choice, a lot of times women take care of their children, and it's very sad. Men just leave because we think, oh, their body, their choice. I don't have to worry. So you see how it's affecting even the men when you make those decisions that you don't even care about the baby. Why should I? And that's wrong. That that family, that love. When you talk about family, it's all about love and unconditional love. And I'm telling you, when you have that child, let's talk about it. You're 18 years old. Let's just make it 20. Make it easy. You're 20 years old, but same situation. Employee at Walmart, making only 20,000, living at home. You have a child. Let's just say the guy is a deadbeat dad. He's not in the picture because a lot of times it happens. And you go against all those odds. And think about it. When women actually go to school, and there was this lady, I put a picture, or I snapshot it of on LinkedIn so I can remember and I can keep it. In fact, I might want to find it here so I can talk about it. But from there, there's a lady that got her I call lawyer degree, but what do you call attorneys? I don't know the term in that in the lawyer world, but she's officially a lawyer, and she passed the bar exam. She did everything. She because it was in June, a couple months or a month or so ago. She got her everything, the whole decked out thing when you graduate, your veil and what do you call it, your tassel and a big hobbit overall, and she looked very professional, and her story was just amazing. I don't know where she's from, so I can't say where, but obviously here in America, um, North Carolina it comes about. But she was a black woman that had a child, and her daughter is now 18, and she just finished a bar exam, and she, I may be wrong on the age. I want to say she was young. Read it again, but it's on LinkedIn. And oh my goodness, she was like, I chose, having a baby. She didn't even talk about being pro-life. That was a funny thing. But you knew what happened. She mentioned that. She was like, I went against all odds. She did it more in general. I went against more odds, having a child, single mother, everything. Thank you. I finally got it. It's a beautiful thing. But again, did not mention pro-life at all. But that's the idea of it. This is exactly what I described. Just imagine if you took all those odds and you did your main goal, the reason why you had an abortion because you want to do X, Y, Z. Just imagine you did all of that and have a child. You know how much more powerful you are than a woman that just says, "Oh, I make 300 grand, I have 3 houses," but you have none of that unconditional love. You just don't. That is so much more powerful. And it can be any woman. It can be 18 years old. It can be that 25, 26-year old. If they had that child, think about how much more empowering they get. I went through everything. We're in the business world, and we say it's all obstacles. We do it in the business world. Why can't we do it in our personal lives? It's just unbelievable how women don't think of it like that. Um, and think about how powerful you are when you go against all odds. You only have $100, you have no funding, you have no investors, and you still make a company. You're very successful. But in reality, if you do the same concept by having a child going against all odds, you are a saint. You are a mother of the decade because no other woman can do that. Another businessman, and I say man, can do the same thing as a businesswoman, can go against all odds. So that has nothing to do with being a strong woman. You just say you're a woman, but in reality, it means nothing. What really means something that only women can do, having a child. Men can't do that. So again, you have to look at it, how all these different things goes about. So that's one concept. That's the second concept. The other concept that I cannot be on board with abortion and pro-life is from apart from being a true feminist that doesn't exist right now. I make my own idea of feminist that you're strong. You can do all those things. You can have a child and go to school and graduate and have a high paid job. It's gonna be damn hard, but you can do it. I pray. I help. I do everything. My wife, she's the strongest woman ever. She has a associate's degree, and she's gonna have her children, our children, love her forever. It's unconditional love. That's that love that comes back and says, "Man, I'm here for you." That you just breathe in and out, and you just feel that love. And I think that's what women's chasing all the time. But they're scared. That's what it is. You're scared of the future, and I'm telling you, don't be scared. Don't be scared. You can do it. You are so strong. You can have this child and go through all obstacles and say F you for everyone saying, oh, you can't do this. You have family members telling you, oh, you can't do this. You're not ready. All this stuff and say F you. I can do this. I can do it. So that's the beauty of it. And people, look, you see it in movies. Hollywood's into it. What do you call it? Bad moms? And they make fun of the stay-at-home mom. Like she's so bad, she doesn't have time because she's putting all that effort into another person or children. They don't talk about that. They talk about how it's all about me. And was it Mila Kunis? I think her character. They act like she's the best mom ever, and that's not a true portrayal of women who have that mindset only for themselves. It doesn't make sense. One plus one does not it equals three to them. You can't do that. You can't be it's all about my life essentially, and still take care of the family. You can't do that. It just doesn't work. That's why the funny part, they went all crazy and they had a good time and everything. But in reality, they won't take care of the kids. They won't make food. They won't do that. It's buying food and caring about yourself, but they make it look like, oh, a woman did everything. No, it's not because with that mindset, you just don't do it. There's nothing wrong with it. You just it doesn't add up. And then of course they made the guy looks so dumb, and he looks at porn as if it's normal. And they don't talk about women watching porn. There are actually a higher uptake of women watching porn here in this decade than men. Men have always watched it, but women's actually increasing more and more. So again, that's a whole other topic, but it's so serious when it talks about the family, how it's ruining the family, and abortion's ruining the family. Let's talk about blacks. Let's talk about African people. You know how much it kills the African American community? It's unbelievable. And I don't know the number, but there's the millions, it's in the millions from when abortion became legal to now that black unborn babies have been killed. These black fetuses, people say, oh, it's just a fetus. No, they're human beings. And think about it, millions, we're talking about millions. Look it up how many black unborn babies are being killed every day, and how much have they been killed since the beginning of Roe versus Wade when it became legal. Think about how many of those people you're talking about, strength in numbers, about protests. Blacks right now are still feeling the hate. There's still hate. Same thing as women. Black people have it worse. And I'm telling you, the way to change all that is to please don't go towards abortion. Keep that child. Everything I just mentioned as far as a woman, just imagine if you're a black woman. You know how much powerful you are, how much powerful you would be if you had that child go against all odds. That is the idea of power. When you say, I can do something that no one else can, that very, very few women can do, and I can do it, and obviously no men can do. I'm telling you, that is a simple formula. Keep the baby, everything will be all right. Should put a shirt like that. Keep the baby, everything will be all right. I'll say it a third time. Keep the baby, everything will be all right. And on top of that, you will have a fun time. You have someone that loves you unconditionally for the rest of your life. You don't talk about not being wanting a man. You're gonna have someone, and if you happen to have a boy, you're gonna have a man older when he gets older that loves you. So you can say, I don't need a man. I have my son. That's a beautiful thing. Uh, Having a father is a whole different story. But you say you want to, you don't need a man. But when you say those things, and I know one friend of mine, on the funny part, he says, I think Dave Chappelle said this too. We should stop paying child support because, we women have their choice. So my money, my choice. But on a serious note, from that, where it stems from that, is that that's the other connotation or the side note is you don't you need money from a man. So I totally disagree with that as well. You can do it even without a man. You don't need his money. You don't need nothing of that. That's a strong woman. I met a woman like that here near Austin where I live when I pick her up for Lyft. And same thing. And what a coincidence. She says, God will help me. I'll take care of it. She lives in a rundown apartment complex where there's a lot of gangs and stuff. And she has a 11-month-old baby and the guy left and she is getting pennies on the dollar and she's paying she can barely pay rent. She doesn't, she's happy. She's happy and I'm like, wow. And I prayed for her too when she left. I'm like, man, thank you God for having a strong woman. That's a strong woman. And guess how old she was? 18. What a coincidence. But she was strong. And that baby will remember. We didn't even talk about that. When the baby gets older, human being gets older, and they're going to see that. That will be the most empowering thing for that next generation. And if you want to insert the race part of it, a black woman or a Mexican woman, I'm Mexican myself, Planned Parenthood targets them. Again, you gotta look at it why they put these locations. Just type in locations. I dare you to do this, even in your own city. Here's a challenge. Type in Google where's Planned Parenthood and go to those locations. I dare you to go. Go and look around. Make a 180 turn of your head and say, okay, this is a bad neighborhood. And go at night. I dare you to go at night. They don't show it, but during the day, they show it during the day, but not at night. So think about those things when that happens because they are targeted. They know, believe me, they're a $1 billion company. They know exactly where to put it. They know that professional women, they have money. So that's another reason why, they scare you with money. They scare you, oh, you can't take care of this baby and you're working and you're getting welfare. You can't do this. But they don't tell you. They show it with action. So again, totally against Planned Parenthood. Kanye West even talks about it. He quoted something because he's running for president. If you didn't see, that's pretty cool. But he's pro-life, and doesn't matter if he's pro-life a long time ago, pro-life for 10 minutes, starting 10 minutes from now. And he talks about how Planned Parenthood, I may be paraphrasing, but said Planned Parenthood is taking putting their places in and doing in these low income places and doing the devil's work. Oh wow! So it's very strong how he said it, but It's so true. So again, go to there at night, see how it is. I know here in Austin, there's one on Ben White. There's a couple of them. There's one more. Oh, on Seventh Street. That's next to Sixth Street, 36. So you go there at night, see what happens. Be careful. Hopefully you practicing your Second Amendment right. Or the one on Ben and White, so go there. So I dare you to go there after 8 o'clock. There's a what was it, Exxon that let's just say I put my gas in and I'm racing to put my gas in my car. That would be good. And that's across the street by the Wendy's. So again, they know what to do. They know how to target. And again, if you want to talk about Black Lives Matter, if you want to talk about police injustice, it all starts with the family at home. It's just very simple. So when you have those things, police don't mess with you. Uh, I believe that. And, yes, sir, no, sir goes a long way. But after everything, that is. Now you have bad apples. You have people that are just hateful. Just like how blacks hate whites, there's white people that hate black people, hate Mexicans. You can't change that. But again, I put the religious side of it. I'll say I love my brother and sister. So I don't care if you hit me, I still will forgive you. That's powerful because that's not about me. It's about doing the selfless act. I know he'll always hurt me or she'll always hurt me, but I will love them. It's hard to say. It's hard to do. Believe me, there's a Spanish saying, entre dicho y hecho hay mucho trecho. Saying it is easy, but doing it is harder. But we still should do it. We still should fight for that. But that is just crazy, how the abortion world, especially for women, they're fighting for it, and it just does so much destruction to them, to people around them, not let alone the human being that's inside them. So I encourage everyone that thinks about pro-choice, please look up stuff. I get it. And I get why you're angry at us. I get it. Because there's some people that are just jerks and say, oh, you're a murderer, you do this. But I understand. But ask why you want to do it. And I'm telling you, once you ask why, I'm right there. Not physically, but I'm right there with you and saying, you can do that. You can go to school. You can go and get a degree. You can go and get a high paying job. You can do all of that. Go against the odds. And I'm telling you, it will be the most fruitful dividends ever in your life because no one can do that. Very, very little women can do that. No men can do that. I'll repeat that again. Uh, and oh yeah. Anyways, speaking of which, I think they're waking up right now. It's what 9:40. So I have to become the number one dad by going. But I'll leave it at that. That's the biggest thing I think of abortion is that you know women. I cannot get on abortion side because of that. I will be going against women's rights. And I'm a man. And two is I know scientifically speaking that there is a human being there. Uh, there's a Catholic radio that we listen to, EWTN, look it up. Shout out to who is that? Mitch Packwell, Father Mitch Packwell. He mentioned this one time, and he said if we see it, scientists see a plant or a seed, he said, and go even lower as a seed in the dirt, and you can see within the crevices that it's a plant going to happen. They can extract somewhere and see, hey, it's a rosemary plant, or it's a, I don't know, I'm a state guy, so I think of rosemary and thyme. Those are plants, and they see it in another, let's say on Mars. Elon Musk finds it first, and they see it, and they see it's developing that seed, and it's not growing yet, but it's in the ground, they see it and see it's forming, they will say that is new life on Earth, or on Earth, new life on another planet, on Mars. Elon Musk found it, hypothetically. And but when the same concept for a woman having a child that's just fetuses, that's not a formed human being yet, um, in a couple months or in a couple weeks, it's still not, then we don't care. So it was an interesting concept you said that because it makes you think that you do know there's something why you're mad. And again, I would encourage you to look up Catholicism because something about it. Again, that's my personal view. Right now, with all this race and everything, somehow we throw in religion, but in a negative way. There's either people that believe in religion, there's people that don't. I think that is the number one fight right now. Because, very simple, history tells us people fight over religions, die over religions, everything. The Muslims versus the Catholics, all these different things, goes so much about the religion, not religion, the atheists and the believers, all these different things. So I think that's why, and everything else we fight about. But the real issue is those. That's my opinion. And that's why people mention religion a lot, but mostly towards hating it and not liking it. So I encourage you to look more into Catholicism. It's so beautiful when you read the true meaning of it, and it's there. Look up Catechism. The church will describe, and it's not the Bible. Bible thumpers, there's so many false Christians, and it can be confusing. There's over 20 sects or divisions of Christianity in Waco alone, Waco, Texas. If you don't know what Waco, Texas, look it up. It's small, and not a lot of people are there. But just imagine other places. So there's a rich history, a beautiful history of Catholicism, and that's what drives me to loving women, show that women can do it. Look under saints, look saints up. There's so many things I'm reading, a small children's book about saints. It's so easy to read, and it's just crazy in those times that women do the unthinkable, and that's why they're called saints. A lot of them are women. It's unbelievable how they do that. So again, I'll talk more about religion in a different side or a different video, but that's my point of abortion. Feel free to leave comments on it, say what you think, but I think this is the best way to have a dialogue. I think we'll fight. It's just history shows us we'll fight, and there's no reason for it. Um, I'll pray for everyone. I'll pray for the children who were never born, but that's the reasons why. It took 3 minutes for me to explain those three concepts. Um, that shows that you are a powerful woman. Please have the baby, everything will be all right. I'll repeat that again. So have the baby, everything will be all right. And don't worry about people who put you down because you're strong. And don't get me started with men. Be a strong man, be there for her. Be there. That's so powerful for a woman, so fragile at that moment. And the guy doesn't say nothing. Oh, you do what you want. I even pay for the abortion. No. And be a strong man. Take care of another life. Be a man. So that's what I say. And I think my wife is up. So speaking of being a man, I have to go. Thank you very much. If I think of anything else of abortion topic, I'll make another video. But that's the main thing I want to say that I've always been saying, and I want to put it on a recorder now or record it because I've been saying it because I've been discovering it more and more. It's past what 8 years, and it's very sad to see it. So please, no harm, nothing. Just I care about women and I care about babies, I care about children because that's the beauty of it. So innocent, so innocent. So you can do it. Yes, you can. You can be a strong woman, and men can be stronger on being there for women during these hard times. Because I know it's so hard. That's why women get so emotional at this topic because they deserve to be. Because it's literally affecting their body. So they feel like it's theirs. I get it. It's in your body. You can't deny that. So I pray that you contemplate on it. If you're thinking about having an abortion, think about why, and think about why not. Why not have a baby? Um, I can do it. And like I said, Planned Parenthood doesn't care about it. They know they can do it. And for the black community, please go against abortion because you never get ahead as a society, as a race. Same thing, Mexicans. I'm Mexican myself. Please go against it because it's only putting us down. It's not, it has nothing great for us, no progress for us. When I talk about progress, they're cutting out progress by the millions. It's unbelievable. So please think about that and helping your own race to progress. I'm telling you, you can do it. Thank you.